Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Truth Factor, where we do headlines with an attitude. I'll tell you, yesterday, guys, I was wiped out. I feel a little better today. Not completely drained, but yesterday I was not feeling it. We got up early and started off with the day, and I got the one headline out early in that day, and that was it. Now we gonna cover that one headline because I haven't heard anything else about it except for the one article. I did see something that did take place yesterday, but it wasn't. And it was reported from Switzerland, but not necessarily in Switzerland. But anyway, we're going to cover that and then some this afternoon. I'll tell you some very interesting articles. Needless to say, I think somebody might be just a little angry over there. And I've got a really good lineup in the For Your Eyes section, guys, today. So welcome, everyone. This is Headlines. And we are going to cover them as quickly as possible. It's probably going to be a lengthy show because I do have quite a few of them today. So let's buckle up, guys. And everything is in the Wixit in the description in the box below. So let me get this. In the box below. I'll fix that later. Anyway, God is good. What'd you say, honey? You being silly? You're being silly. Anyway, love you guys. Let's get into these articles. We got quite a few, like I said. And For Your Eyes section, I really encourage you to read it. Hi, Mary. How are you, honey? I'll tell you, we have in the For Your Eyes section. We're going to draw you down there really quick because I'll tell you this real raw news. I don't actually never heard of him, but there's a couple of videos that are going around, and these are the articles that this gentleman has referenced, like this here. And there's just a couple of, anyway, some of these I don't think are necessarily for this platform. That's how come we have them in the For Your Eyes section, because I do find them rather intriguing. I just can't, outside of his sources, can't verify it. Now, there are some Gateway Pundits down here, articles that I'll tell you, I'll definitely encourage you to go check them out. And not because we care about Mr. O's orientation or whatever, because I really could care less. But I'll tell you what's in this article. We might touch on just a little bit because it's pretty interesting how they think everything's going to fall into place. But that just depends on how long it takes us to get through these articles. And then there is an exposed whistleblower steps forward, crap about Facebook stuff, guys. And then we have the Gateway Pundit. There's an Ohio police release body camera footage showing the moment that they shot the pregnant girl. And guys, because I can't watch no pregnant girl get shot. So that's how come we're not going to have it in the regular thing. But it is in the For Your Eyes section. So let's get into the rest of these articles, guys. Hello, Wendy. Blessings to you, sister. It does look like it is about to hit the fan. It sure does, Wendy. It does indeed. Okay, so for those that are curious about the headline, we have two articles, both of them basically the same. This one here is from End Time Headlines. This one here is from Hal Turner. Russian announces the Sarmat ICBMs now on combat duty. They have put their combat The Sarmat strategic missile system has been put on combat duty. Yuri Borisov, the head of the Russian State Space Corporation, Roscosmos, said on Friday the Sarmat strategic complex has been put on combat duty. Borisov said during an educational event. Russia tested the nuclear-capable Sarmat missile throughout 2022. Last December, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that Russia will maintain combat readiness and improve the country's nuclear triad, which he called the main guarantor of its sovereignty. The Sarmat system is meant to replace the RS-20 Vavada system. The new missile is capable of striking targets as long as ranges using various flight trajectories and is guaranteed to overcome any existing and prospective anti-missile defense system, having the longest range of target engagement. Sarmat, hold on, guys. Sarmat is also expected to reinforce the combat capabilities of the Russian strategic nuclear forces. The first test launch of the Sarmat missile was carried out on April 20th. Here's the specifics. The RS-28 Sarmat is a three-stage liquid-fueled ICBM equipped with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. The operational range of the RS-28 Sarmat is up to 18,000 kilometers, allows it to target almost any location on Earth. The missile can be armed with 10 to 15 warheads or a combination of warheads and countermeasure, including dummy warheads to confuse enemy missile defenses. Additionally, the Sarmat can carry up to 24 Avangard hypersonic glide vehicles, making it even more formidable weapon. Each warhead of the RS-28 Sarmat is estimated to have an explosive power of up to 500 kilotons, equivalent to leveling a major metropolitan area. To put this into perspective, the nuclear attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 had explosive power of 15 and 21 kilotons, respectively. The destructive potential of the Sarmat is unparalleled, and it serves as a potent deterrent against any aggression directed towards Russia. Response to the U.S. prompt global strike. Russia points out that the Sarmat missile system is Russia's response to the prompt global strike concept developed by Pentagon planners. The PGS proposes preemptive conventional massed cruise missile strikes to disarm an adversary and eliminate its leadership. This concept, unveiled after the U.S. withdrawal from the anti-ballistic missile treaty with Russia in 2002, prompted Moscow to develop the advanced weapons, including hypersonic missiles and glide vehicles, and ultimately the Sarmat. So, and then if we look here, Putin putting on the doomsday nuke on combat ready for the first time. You'll see Armageddon is just Putin has placed his most powerful Armageddon nuclear rocket, dubbed Satan II, on combat duty in the haunting new threat to the West. The unstoppable intercontinental missile system could sink the UK and the size of a 14-story tower block. Yuri Borisov, head of the Russian Space Agency, issued the chilling announcement earlier today. He told a crowd of students at an event the Sarmat strategic complex has been put on combat duty. Borisov also said that Russia will most likely unlock the Russian module for the International Space Station after 2030. The Armageddon weapon is 116 feet in length and can be loaded with a 15 light nuclear warhead at once. The weapon was designed to carry out nuclear strikes in the countries thousands of miles away in the U.S. and in Europe. It has potential to liberate the United Kingdom and 1,600 miles away in just 6 minutes. And when an operational range of 11,180 miles, the deadly missile is reported to have no equivalent in the West in terms of terror it could unleash. The 208-ton missile was meant to go on duty in late 2022, but was mysteriously delayed delayed. Russian propagandists have boasted one strike could sink Britain under the sea, but it's only passed one test launch. 9 months ago, Putin threatened in the near future Sarmat ICBMs will be on combat duty for the first time. We know there will be a certain delay in the time, but this does not change our plans. Everything will be done in June. He also said that Satan II missiles would be replaced on duty, but he claims were only confirmed today. So again, here is just another article that just kind of backs up the other article. But I also like to it puts a different light, a perspective, the stuff behind it. So down here it talks about the island is so small that the Sarmat missile is enough to drown it once and for all. It is capable of destroying an area the size of Texas or England. So in a single launch, Boris, and there is no England anymore, once and for all. So guys, again, I don't think that there's any secret that Putin means business. And I don't blame him. I would put my stuff on high alert. It would be combat ready, obviously, without saying he's been attacked. So who could blame him? Okay. Then we have from Hal Turner, Hungary blocks all EU aid to Ukraine. I think this is very telling. Hungary has vetoed the European Union's intent to give more money to Ukraine until such a time as Ukraine accounts for the 50 to 70 billion euros already given. Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter, Szijjártó said today, of course, I won't give in to pressure until we get a detailed, clear account of approximately 50, 70 billion euros spent on Ukraine was spent on, and until the OTB bank is removed from the list of the so-called international sponsors of the war. There can be no question of making a decision about additional funds to finance armaments or anything related to Ukraine. European Union Chief Borrell was literally in tears, pictured below, over the situation. Yeah. Borrell had tried to allocate more peace funds to Zelensky in Ukraine, but had to publicly admit he could not release the next tranche of funds to Kyiv because Hungary said no. With European money now hold it for Ukraine, it is only a matter of time before the Ukrainians completely collapse. Guys, I don't know if they're going to completely collapse because they're not getting the EU money, but I will tell you that it's going to make for an interesting turn of events here real soon, right? Especially with all the latest attacks that have been really, truly gearing up there. We also have from yesterday's Hal Turner, the Biden approves a direct U.S. military aid to Taiwan. The Biden administration has approved funding for the first time ever to transfer the U.S. military equipment to Taiwan under a program typically saved for sovereign nations, according to a notification sent to Congress on Tuesday. The package, which is part of the State Department Foreign Military Financing Program, totals $80 million and will be paid for by U.S. taxpayers. Anyway, no shock, no surprises there, I don't believe. And here is that lovely article that broke yesterday morning, and we broke it here. Now, guys, I haven't seen anything else on this, and I really have kind of looked to see what in the world is going on, but maybe I've missed something, but this is from Hal Turner from yesterday. As you can see, Sweden is under the bomb attack this morning. Bomb squad experts have been called in. Swedish cities and capital Stockholm were rocked by 4 explosions in just over an hour. So I have no clue if, what in the world. I haven't seen anybody else report on this, but I will tell you, I did see this being reported by Swiss, but this isn't in Ecuador. And it says an explosion is in Ecuador is seen as gangs asserting power after inmates take hostages. Okay. And in Quito Ecuador. The criminal groups in Ecuador used explosives Friday to damage a bridge, authorities said, demonstrating their grip on the South American country where prison inmates took dozens of law enforcement officers hostages less than 2 days earlier. The government officials described the violent acts of the work of criminal groups, with members in prison responding to the efforts by authorities to regain control of several large correctional facilities by relocating inmates, seizing weapons, and other steps. 4 car bombs and 3 explosive devices went off across the country in less than 48 hours. Now, there was supposed to be 4 explosions, but is it the same thing? I don't know, guys. I don't know. So I can just tell you that that's what we had yesterday, and I will continue to scour and wait. Sometimes he's way ahead of the game. Sometimes he gets it wrong, but either way it goes, you guys know that I'm not going to give up until we either confirm or, unconfirm it, because we will make, retraction if we have to. I'll tell you it was false, but right now I don't have anything to confirm it. I don't have anything to unconfirm it, except for this one here talks about the 4 explosions in less than 48 hours, but this is not actually in Switzerland. It was in Quito, it says. And a Friday on a bridge linking 2 cities in coastal province of El Oro, National Police Commander Luis Garcia told the Associated Press. So whether this was in Ecuador or wherever, this is what's being reported, and this is the article, and it's from the Telegraph, okay? So I just wanted to cover that one more time because that was the video that we did make yesterday morning. And then we have an update on the Proud Boys arrest and sentencing. It seems like Proud Boys member gets 10 years for U.S. Capitol riot, shouts Trump won. A third member of the far-right Proud Boys group has received a lengthy prison sentence this week for his participation in the attack on the Capitol in 2021. Dominic Pezzola, 46, of Rochester, New York, was sentenced to 10 years in prison on Friday after he was captured on a video using a police shield to smash his way into the Capitol building. While he expressed contrition in the leading up of the sentencing, Pezzola left the courtroom in D.C., reiterating his support for the falsehood that drove many to storm the U.S. legislative. Trump won, he said, launching a fist into the air before being escorted away. Supporters of Donald Trump stormed the Capitol to try to stop U.S. legislators from certifying Biden's election victory. Many were motivated by the false claim, but put forward by Trump and his allies that voted and had been rigged against the Republican and stolen by his opponents. During Friday's sitting hearing, U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly said Pezzola played a significant role in the event of that day, creating an opening for others to enter the building. You really were in some way the tip of the spear that allowed people to get into the Capitol, Kelly said. He added it was a national disgrace that what happened. The hearing came a day after Kelly imposed a 15-year sentence on a fellow Proud Boy, Zachary Rill, and 17 years for Joseph Biggs, the second longest prison term awarded to any participant in the Capitol riot. 5 Proud Boys, including Briggs, Rill, and Pezzola, were convicted in May for their role in the attack. All the co-defendants, except Pezzola, were found guilty of seditious conspiracy, a rare but serious charge that alleges a defendant planned to use force to oppose the U.S. government. Pezzola, however, was the only defendant in that case to be convicted of assaulting a police officer. He was found guilty on 6 felony charges, including obstructing an official proceeding, destruction of government property, a robbery involving government property. Prosecutors had asked him to be sentenced for 20 years in prison. The Proud Boys described themselves as chauvinists who performed a pro-Western fraternal organization for men. The organization included Ministry of Self-Defense that descended on the Capitol January 6. Although he was relatively new to the group, Pezzola was hand-selected to serve as a rally boy during the Capitol riot, according to prosecutors. He was an enthusiastic foot soldier in that conspiracy, prosecutor Eric Kennerson told the court on Friday. Anyway, I don't see any other facts here. that we really need to cover. But anyway, Trump himself faces 2 criminal indictments related to his efforts to overthrow the results. Stuart Rhodes, founder of the far-right Oath Keepers, was sentenced in May, 18 years, the longest sentence of any of the participants' Capitol riot to date. Enrique Tarot is also set to be sentenced next week. Tarot is likely to get an extremely stringent sentence, Al Jazeera's Mike Hanna reported from D.C. on Friday. However, in all these cases, the sentences are still less than what the prosecution's been asking for. In some cases, the prosecution has been asking for up to 30 years imprisonment. And all I can say is some of these people, they need to watch out if Trump wins, these judges that are, going along with whatever that's being asked. If he gets into office, what will he do to them? Just saying, guys, just saying. Anyway, let's see. Then we have from End Time Headlines. What did you miss, Ryan? Oh, mercy, brother. You've missed quite a bit. But let's talk about a minute from End Time Headlines, and I'll do a recap here in just a second on where we're up to. I'll show you the lovely headlines that we have here. But Russian propagandist threatens Tucker Carlson and said he is a dead man walking. Tucker seems to just be making everybody mad today, isn't he? Russia is still dealing with the fallout from the stunning demise of the head of Wagner Group, Prigozhin and his associates, all of whom recently perished in a fiery plane crash. This week, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told reporters that several possible causes are being considered, including the possibility that it was a deliberate atrocity. The same propagandist who previously asserted that Prigozhin must die for organizing an embarrassing mutiny that shattered the illusion of Vladimir Putin's tight grip on power had sharply changed their course once their wish came true. They are now desperately spinning their wheels, attempting to impugn foreign powers for organizing the incident, and even predicting that Sergei Survakin, a former commander of Russian forces in Ukraine, nicknamed General Armageddon, might be next. On Thursday, Russia's most prominent propagandist, Vladimir Solovey, even more populous, predicted that soon there might be another potential victim. Former Fox News host and current formerly Twitter podcaster Tucker Carlson. The latest broadcaster of the evening with Vladimir Solovey featured multiple clips of Carlson's historical predictions, including his claim that the U.S. government is getting ready to go to war with Russia, a war he implied the U.S. would lose. In a series of clips from Adam Carlos' YouTube show that were selected for Salvo's program, Carlson accused both Republicans and Democrats of being insane and historically predicting that the war between the U.S. and Russia would start next year. Salvo theatrically asked, "Who says that? A dead man walking?" He sincerely believes that the next step after the accusations and the declaration of impeachment will be the assassination of Trump. But this man, who is currently the most popular English-speaking journalist, signed his own death warrant. Salvo explained the main reason for Tucker's potential troubles. They will not forgive him for the fact that he strives to interview our president and posts the footage on a platform that has no censorship. For years, head of RT, Margarita Simoian, had promoted the idea of granting Carlson a long-standing wish to interview Putin. Last Sunday, she again reiterated her plea, describing the fired Fox News host as the most popular host in the history of the United States, and hoping out loud that someone from the presidential administrator will hear her message. Earlier Thursday morning, Salvo interviewed Dmitry Sims, the former president and the CEO of the Center of National Interest, a Washington foreign policy think tank that was mentioned in a special counsel Robert Mueller's report. Sims told Salvo that he was previously involved in attempting to help Carlson set up the coveted interview in one of the recent radio broadcasts. Salvo mentioned that even actor Steven Seagal was pushing for Carlson to finally get this long-awaited opportunity. During his evening show, Salvo predicted dire consequences that would follow Carlson's persistent attempts to score a sit-down with the Russian president. I can't rule out that the near future, as he is leaving Europe, there will be an air crash or something will happen to the car in which he will be traveling, or he might eat something that he shouldn't. Maybe his heart will suddenly stop. If I were in his place, I would tell no more of my travel routes. Is that just not crazy, guys? I had to read it. I'm like, Tucker, in my opinion, hasn't said anything in disrespect to Putin or even to Russia for that matter. I'm not saying he's a fan of either, but it's rather interesting. Let's do that recap before I forget. Real quick, and we will pick up with the Ben Wallace story. Okay, so the first article that we covered was the Hal Turner, Russia announces the Sarmat, the ICBMs now on combat duty. And then again, End Time Headlines puts it into perspective for you, blatantly calls it the doomsday nuke on combat ready for the first time, and talks about also the Satan too, not just the Sarmat. So then we have, oh goodness, hold on, guys. Then we also have, let's see, Biden approving the direct U.S. military aid to Taiwan. Then again, we had, this was the article that I had covered yesterday, and I had actually been looking for something more on this, and I haven't found anything. And if anybody finds something, let me know. I would greatly appreciate it, but I can't find anything else other than this article. But I will tell you, in my search and finding that, I did find this article that mentions 4 explosions, but this was in Ecuador, guys. And so I'm not sure if maybe it was for this and he got the wrong, I don't know. I can't speak, but what I will say is, I could see why they would want to hit Switzerland. There's a lot of money there, right? But who knows? But this here is so far where we're up to, guys. And then we have Al Jazeera's update on the Proud Member boys. The member gets 10 years. And as he got 10 years, he was leaving and he hollered, Trump won, right? And then we also have where we were just at, the the Russian propagandist threatens Tucker Carlson, says he's a dead man walking. Anyway, like I said, I was saying, I don't know why they would be so, ill towards Tucker. What's not to like about Tucker, guys? I know the left doesn't like him, but I wouldn't see where he would be a threat to anybody else. But anyway, let's continue on. So then we have from Hal Turner, Ben Wallace quits as UK defense chief. Now, remember yesterday, guys, I told you that he had quit, but I did not have this article linked in the description. So I figured we'd cover it. I mentioned it yesterday, and here it is. After an utterly failed Ukraine-Russia conflict debacle where he got wrong almost every aspect of the conflict, Ben Wallace has resigned as defense minister of the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Sunak has accepted Wallace's resignation, and here's the letter. And I'm not going to read the letter, but it is in the description if you would like to read it, guys. And like I said, this was one of yesterday's headliners, really. And then we also have from War News 247, guys. This is the smell of war. Niger authorities forcefully throw French ambassador out of the country, and Burkina Faso and Mali send fighters and forces to Niamey. Now, this was yesterday's, but I do have another article that says that basically, I guess there's a green light. But anyway, we have a dramatic escalation is taking place in West Africa as Niger's new authorities make an unprecedented move. They remove the French ambassador's diplomatic immunity after first pointing out to him that they don't even recognize him as an ambassador. Then the police force dragged him out of his residence and deported him. At the same time, Niger gave the French soldiers 4 days to pack up and leave the country. Yesterday and the day before, citizens the country besieged the French embassy and the French military base. The Nigerian authorities cut off electricity and water to the French embassy while preventing the delivery of food. Yesterday, the French were prevented from installing a generator at the embassy after the electricity and water supply was cut off. In more details, the new Niger authorities announced that they had instructed the police to deport the French ambassador to Niamey. After the expiry of the deadline given to the French diplomat to leave the African country, the National Council of Safeguarding the Homeland, headed by General Abdom Sanad, last Friday asked the French ambassador to leave within 48 hours. The new authorities justified their decision by citing the ambassador's refusal to comply. According to the letter from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs dated today, Ambassador Site no longer enjoys the privileges of immunity associated with his status of a member of the diplomatic staff of the French embassy. His diplomatic documents and visas and those of his family members are canceled, according to the letter, which notes the Nigerian police services have been instructed to proceed with deportation of the French diplomat. And then the authorities of Niger have announced that they have authorized the armed forces of two neighboring states, Burkina and Faso and Mali, to intervene on the territory in case of an attack. The foreign minister of visited. Let's see, we're just going to read the italic, guys. They approved the signing of the decrees that authorize the defense and security forces of Burkina and Mali to intervene in the territory of Niger in the event of the attack. Let's see. Immediately after the July coup, Niamey, they expressed the solidarity with Niger's new authorities in the community. West African states threatened military intervention to restoration constitutional order. Then we have, guys, I don't even want to try to pronounce all that. Batmoka and Akoda, I don't know. They warned the CEDEAO that they would regard any intervention in Niger as a declaration of war against them, which the foreign minister reiterated. General Sinai, for his part, explained on Saturday that any military operation will not be the healthy walk that some people believe. Burkina Faso has approved a bill authorizing the government to send military force to defend Niger should Niamey be attacked. In addition to the military coup, all these just ridiculous things. In addition to the military coup, Mali, Burkina Faso sent warplanes to Niger in show of solidarity against possible military intervention in economic community of Western African states. Mali and Burkina Faso turned their commitments into concrete action by deploying warplanes to respond to any attack in Niger. State television said, noting that the planes were Super Tucano fighter jets. Let's see. And that's it, guys. So there we have that. And that was in yesterday's. But the next article is for today. And it says, Macron is the green light for operations against Niger. Algeria closed the airspace to the Rafale, and Morocco accepted the French request. So let's see what's going down, guys. Algeria has refused to open its airspace to the French Rafale for operations against Niger. The request was officially submitted by Paris, while after receiving the no, a second request was submitted to Morocco, with the answer being positive. Earlier, Macron given a green light for the start of a military operations with his speech. Macron explained why France can no longer back down. Macron stressed that France is ready to support the ECOWAS military operation in Niger, while the spokesman of the French General Staff, Colonel Pierre Godgier, warned that the French military forces are ready to respond to any new tension that would undermine the French military and diplomatic influence in Niger. The French authorities are extremely unhappy with this situation in Niger In more detail, the conference of the country's ambassadors, President Macron announced his readiness to support the ECOWAS military action in Niger to restore constitutional order. So Paris is determined to strongly support any efforts by Economic Community of West Africa, including military ones, to restore constitutional order in Niger, French President Emmanuel Macron said during a speech to a conference of the country's ambassadors. He added that Paris would not withdraw its support for legitimately elected President Mohamed Bazoum, noting his bravery in light of his refusal to step down. Macron urged Nigerian citizens not to fall for the rebels' narrative that France has become our enemy. The problem, Niger's citizen, is that the rebels put them at risk of losing international funding that would help them get out of poverty, the French president said. He disagreed with the claims by Western politicians and media that Paris is overly supportive of President Bazoum. In other African countries, they will not listen to us if we do not support a political leader facing a similar coup, Macron explained. According to him, the ECOWAS withdraws from President Bazoum, then all the presidents in the region will realize what fate has in store for them. Meanwhile, all security defense agreements between Niger and France are canceled. This was stated by the National Council for the Defense of Homeland Niger, according to Al Arabiya TV channel. The military that came to power in Niger on the night of July 27th showed their desire for a complete disengagement from France. Specifically, the new authorities have decided to cancel all agreements with Paris in the field of defense and security. Al Arabiya reported earlier Gabon did exactly the same. So, guys, does it look like they might have some kind of conflict? In my opinion, it does look like it's gearing up to that. Will they? I don't know. Is Macron going to test his military against all of what seems to be gearing up? I don't know. Does he know that? Does he think that others will come in and aid him? Maybe that's what he's being promised. I don't know, guys. I don't think that this is something that France by themselves could win, but that's my opinion. I don't know what you think. You let me know in the comment. Anyway, there's a little bit more there, but you guys get the gist of this. Very, kind of crazy, I think, for them. But, it is what it is in this time and age, right, guys? Everybody wants war. It seems like everywhere. It's war, full speed ahead. Just kind of crazy. Anyway, we also have a nightmare week for Kyiv with 5,380 dead. 2 Iskander decapitates and Ed commander staff. Russians launch 5 major attacks. Looks kind of crazy there, guys. Look at all the blue on the... Russian forces with 2 Iskander ballistic missiles decapitated the command staff of the Ukrainian armed forces on southeastern front. Several Ukrainian generals and other top officers were killed. The Russian armed forces hit a building near the settlement of Kremorsk with 2 Iskander missiles. According to the information at the time of the Russian strike, a meeting was taking place at the headquarters in which command staff of the armed forces of Ukraine participated. Russian troops launched a missile attack on Ukrainian groups' field headquarters in the Povorsk region temporarily controlled by Kyiv. As a result of the missile arrival, the headquarters, together with the officers, the armed forces of Ukraine located in it, was destroyed. The building was hit by Iskander missile, and not once but twice. That is, they bombed the headquarters of the armed forces of Ukraine twice, to be sure, said journalist Andriy Rodingo. The head of the press center at Vosko Group of Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, Olga Chekhov, gave an account of the situation. Let's see, what else do we want to cover? This just tells you what all they've hit between August 25th and September 1st. Also printed unmanned aerial vehicles, assembly areas, concentrations. 36 attacks were repelled in the direction of Donetsk. The Ukrainian army lost 2,385 soldiers, 2,385 soldiers, 30 tanks and other armed vehicles, 75 vehicles, and 21 artillery installations. In Zaporozhye, the armed forces of Ukraine made 44 attempts to break through Russian defenses. The Russian armed forces killed over 960 Ukrainians while destroying 24 armored vehicles, 28 other vehicles, and 45 artillery emplacements. Let's see. In the south, a village of Starmosk. During the fighting, the Ukrainian side lost about 1,025 soldiers, 13 armed vehicles, 26 vehicles, and 26 guns. 470 soldiers were killed and 22 armed vehicles, 21 vehicles, and 18 artilleries were destroyed in Kapsk within a week. About 540 Ukrainians were killed in Kranselman direction. In Kherson, the armed forces of the Russian Federation are focused on destroying the enemy's manpower, dealing with amphibious operations, as well as fighting against Ukrainian artillery. Doesn't look like all this equipment that they're getting, guys, is helping them in any way. So who could blame Hungary for not supporting them, right? Hello, Jack. How are you? No, this isn't the truth, Kitty. This is the truth factor. And then we have the For Your Eyes section. As I mentioned earlier, for those that were not here, I cannot bring myself to watch this police release body camera of the footage of that pregnant woman being killed and shot. Then there is the whistleblower stepping down about Facebook from the Gateway Pundit. And then, and like I said, this here article, guys, I'm going to click on. I'm not even concerned about that right there. By no means. This is not why I shared this article. I could care less. To be honest, it's really kind of moot in all retrospect, guys. I mean, seriously. But what I found to be very interesting is the information that's coming out talking about Biden and how he could be leaving soon. So I tell you, I found that rather intriguing. So that is why this article is in here. So for those that, really want to look at this article, that's what this article is there for. And I just wanted to point that out to you guys. And then there is some of this stuff here, guys. This person has, I guess it's him. I don't know if it's him or somebody else, seen this article that made a video about some of this stuff that is reported in his articles here. But this here, let's see, hold on. This one here is why I even found this guy to begin with, because of this report here. Anyway, I'll tell you, it's rather interesting, all of the stuff taking place, if it's true. And then this here article here talking about white hats, guys. I don't do all the white hat type of stuff, so that's how come I don't know, guys, all of this. But I will tell you, I've seen a couple of videos. Let me see if I can pull them up. I don't know if I watched them on mine or if they watched them on Tim's. Let me see. History. My grandbaby, she watches stuff. She done killed it, didn't she? Yeah, guys. I think I watched it on Tim's, to be honest, but yeah, it's not here, and it's probably on Tim. So if I find that video, I will put it in the comment section here, guys, so that you guys can get. They're all great to you. I hear you. How are you, Jack? This is the spray. I got you, brother. I got you. I got you. Anyway, God is good. So, anyway, we are going to go ahead and end this stream, guys. I love each and every one of you. That is the headlines that I have for today for you. Definitely don't, like I said, don't blame anybody here. Christ is king. Yes, he is, Jack Burton. He is indeed. Anyway, I love you all. And if anything else happens, it doesn't matter weekend for me. I will post it. That's how come sometimes during the week, if it's not a whole lot happening, I take a break. And I was tired yesterday. And we'll continue to look on the Sweden thing. If I find something else about it, I'll post it in community tab for you. Anyway, God bless. Have a wonderful night, guys. Love you all. And we'll see you later for Bible. We will have Bible tonight. God is good, isn't he? Love you all. Bye.